It happened in an instant. On live television in the heart of Tehran, viewers across Iran watched in horror as their national broadcaster, IRIB, was struck mid-broadcast by an Israeli missile. No warning sirens, no countdown, just a flash, a tremor, and then silence. The chilling voice of the anchor still echoes in the minds of millions. This is the sound of aggression against the homeland. That moment wasn't just an attack on a building, it was an attack on the psyche of a nation, and the world is still reeling from its impact. Outside the shattered shell of the TV complex, chaos unfolded. Thick smoke choked the air, mingling with panic. Cars jammed the streets as Tehran's residents rushed to flee, gripped by a fear most had never felt so personally before. The Israeli military had issued an unprecedented evacuation warning in parts of the capital just hours earlier, something unheard of in this long-standing shadow war. But few imagined they would target the beating heart of Iran's media, the very mouthpiece through which millions receive their daily sense of normalcy and national identity. The strike landed just outside District 3, a bustling area not only home to state media, but also to European embassies, UN offices, and Revolutionary Guard headquarters. It wasn't just symbolic, it was surgical. And it sent a message loud enough to reverberate across borders. Not even journalists are safe. As footage emerged of wounded civilians in the northwest city of Kermanshah, where a hospital was reportedly hit by an Israeli missile, the scale of escalation became undeniable. Iran's government responded swiftly, declaring that it was preparing for what it ominously called the largest and most intense missile attack in history on Israeli soil. That warning alone is enough to keep the world holding its breath. And for those living in Tehran without bomb shelters and trapped in gridlocked traffic, the fear is not abstract. It's immediate, tangible, deadly. Inside the ruined state TV building, Iranian reporter Younus Shadlu gave a haunting account. Many of his colleagues had refused to evacuate, determined to continue broadcasting until the last possible moment. "We stayed," he said, "to show the true face of the Zionist regime to the world." Their defiance, whether driven by duty or desperation, struck a deep chord. Among those journalists was Sahar Emami, a mother of two, who stayed in her chair until the roar of the blast made it impossible to remain. Her courage, broadcast live, has already made her a symbol of Iranian resistance. But beyond national pride and journalistic bravery, something more fragile was struck that night: trust. The Iranian public, heavily reliant on state media for updates, especially during crisis, was reminded that even information itself is vulnerable to firepower. For a country where international news is filtered and foreign outlets are banned, this attack severed more than just a broadcast feed. It severed the line between the people and their perception of control. State TV isn't just another news outlet. It's a central institution embedded into the political and cultural life of Iran. Founded as early as 1940 with radio and expanding into television in the late 1960s, its complex has grown into a monolithic entity employing tens of thousands across the nation. It's where the supreme leader's speeches are first broadcast, where national celebrations are narrated, and where official narratives are forged. This wasn't an attack on a missile silo. It wasn't a strike on a nuclear facility. This was a precision hit on Iran's narrative machine, on the story it tells itself and its people. And that is what makes this escalation different. That's what makes it personal. The implications are staggering. For decades, conflict between Israel and Iran has played out in proxies, in distant skirmishes, and in secret cyber wars. But now, it has landed in living rooms, on television screens, in the voices of shaken presenters. What's next? As we try to comprehend the political motives behind this assault, it's critical not to overlook the human cost. Reports now confirm that 224 Iranians have died since the strikes began on Friday, among them 70 women and children. The mounting toll isn't just statistics, it's families, stories, futures cut short. And that bloodshed, whether justified under military doctrine or not, is fueling a new wave of anger and unity across Iran's deeply divided society. Israel, for its part, claims the strike was necessary to silence what it views as state propaganda. But this rationale is unlikely to pacify the international community. Legal experts and human rights observers are already labeling the attack a possible war crime, particularly given the reported targeting of civilian infrastructure like hospitals and media institutions. Whether intentional or not, the message sent is loud and clear. No target is too sacred. For Iranians, whether they support the regime or not, this attack has become a national moment. As Dorsa Jabari, a seasoned journalist familiar with the terrain of northern Tehran, noted, this wasn't just a missile strike, it was a rupture in the collective psyche. She used to live just 2 kilometers from the compound. The park, the hotel, the skyline, all suddenly transformed into symbols of vulnerability. And yet, amid this devastation, there's something else: resilience. In the face of missiles, traffic jams, and global scrutiny, the Iranian people continue to adapt, to endure. The footage of Sahar Emami gripping her desk until the last moment wasn't just powerful, it was defiant. It was a signal to the world: we will not be silenced. That's the emotional pivot point. This isn't a story of military tactics or diplomatic chess games. It's a story of people, journalists, mothers, fathers, children, caught in the crosshairs of geopolitics. People who didn't choose this fight, but are now living with its consequences. And it's far from over. As we wait to see how Iran responds and whether Israel's strategy will provoke wider war, one thing is certain: history is being written in real time, and the first draft came through a flickering TV screen in a city now echoing with the sound of